Hey everyone, welcome to Design Underground episode 6. I'm Rob Irving.
I'm Keith Dunkelzaw McCormic.
You've probably seen him on our forums quite a bit. You're a busy community person, aren't you?
Busy community.
So we've been talking about how we're going to do Design Underground every week, and what we're thinking right now is we're going to alternate between process and content. Process, content. That way, if you're really not into the whole process thing, you can skip every other week. Not that we're encouraging that. This week we want to talk a little bit about how a new idea comes into being for a game when you're working on the game. So what we have been talking about this week specifically is the idea of mineable resources and what they mean and how they're used. So what happened is, this is a new system. This is a brand new thing to Descent, so we're starting more from scratch than we usually would be. And I was having a conversation with Josh the other day about, well, what is these going to look like? And that led into the whole circle of life conversation of, well, these things become other power-ups, so there should be a visual connection between a power-up and the actual resources that lead to that power-up. So we started from that idea, and then we got into the more, we'll call it less elegant portion of the design process, which is research.
Lots of research. And actually, one of the things that's very interesting here is there's a tie-in to the community, to the forums. One of our users, I think it was Etheris, was writing a story and was talking about different kinds of minerals on the asteroid. And so I started looking at mineral types that we find in meteorites and asteroids and stuff.
Scintillating, I tell you, scintillating.
And it gets pretty dry pretty quickly, and the names are way harder to pronounce. And so I was talking with Rob about it, and it turned out that the design discussions and this community stuff was happening at the same time, and we started collaborating on the research.
Serendipity. So you passed me over a list of, well, a wiki page of all the different minerals that might be found in it. They are so hard to pronounce, some of them. It's like, what is that?
Heasley Wallite or something like that. Yeah.
One of them even starts with an X. Not kidding. So the next stage was taking those and really diving deep into them, going and looking at the individual elements and what they looked like. So that gives our artists some material for when they're building our textures for our maps. Because everything needs to look kind of consistent, whether it's diggable or not. So what we're doing is we're looking up all these different resources, what's in them, what value they might have as far as their content. So, you know, when you're mining for resources and trying to make your quotas, well, if this one has iron, that's good. Iron's going to always be functional. And so I broke down from that list a super long list of useful resources. Super long. Made a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are what it's all about. Sent that out to everybody that night. And then the next day we sat down to talk about it. Because it's like, that's really complicated.
Well, and it was even more so, somebody brought up how are we going to show that in gameplay, you know, in a HUD in real time. We started looking at that list and going, there's like 50 things on here. This is a pretty fast-paced game. I don't know how we're going to do that. And so we decided maybe shrink it a little.
Simplify. Well, and that's one of the organic processes that happen here is that as I was making that second spreadsheet page, they started neatly categorizing anyway. So when it went back over the fence to you, you went and said, okay, what are my base categories? Let's simplify it down to a handful of categories. And those sets of functionality can be very tightly defined then, and we don't have to get crazy as far as what you have to understand when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
We may have 4 different things that have the same general effect, but those 4 different things may be just, this is the smallest amount, this is the largest amount, and in between.
Yeah, so then we may still have the richness of that bigger list,
right?
But you're not going to need to know it in a split second while somebody's shooting at you.
Yeah, sitting there and trying to analyze which ore you need to pick up right now.
Is it Parthenoidite, or is it Palathorite, or...
And that's very important. We circle back to the art discussion. It's like the visuals have to really, really be readable quickly. So you're not spending a lot of time processing it. You're going, oh, that's the green one. I need the green one because I make the green things. And that's magical design. So what we have now is we have it down to a more reasonable list. The next thing that happens is we sit down with the whole team and go over this and refine it and simplify it even more, get art's input on what these things are going to look like, tie them together to the gameplay that they're associated with, then we have ourselves what could be considered a design. Now, the nice thing about this meeting we're going to have is that it's going to be our first broadcast meeting for the Underground members. This is a really big thing. People who are part of our Underground, or who have signed up, joined the Underground, and are monthly subscribers, will get to tune in for these design meetings as they're happening, and we'll solicit questions at the end and let people see how this really works. And a lot of times it's going to be very random feeling.
Well, it's a meeting.
It's a meeting, but it's a lot of it's brainstorm. It's like somebody has an idea that isn't there yet. I will definitely admit this idea is not quite there yet, but with enough people putting their heads together, what we'll end up with should be really something awesome.
And the key thing about the Underground, there is an annual subscription which is discounted from the monthly rate, and until May 31st, you can get a discount on the discount.
So it's like a discount?
Exactly.
Are we rolling the marketing disclaimer right now? Marketing is happening now. So, tune in next week. We might be broadcasting that one to everyone just to give everyone a taste of what it's like. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe a little
we'll
snippet,
of it. Yeah,
something.
So everyone can get a feel for what they're going to get to see, and maybe they'll go, these guys are weird. Don't want to see any more of them than I have to.
Oh, and also, I don't know if you've been watching the forums. I know you read them, but there's been a new development in the box art thread.
That box art thread is epic.
Yeah, but have you seen this one?
It's beautiful. That is the way the box should look. I think we have a winner. I'm sure Eric will vote yes on that. Absolutely.
I'm going to stay out of that.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rob Irving.
I'm Keith McCormic.
And we'll see you next time.
Underground.
Hey, Rob Irving box. What's going on in there? Can you guys let me in? Hey, Rob Irving is not on the box. Come on, guys, please. Rob Irving is not on the box.